Ladies and gentlemen, I'll read you a couple of articles. CNBC judge bars Trump from disclosing or even keeping evidence in documents case. ABC News, judge orders Trump not to disclose evidence in classified documents case. And there's other articles as well. The reason is that, obviously, the Department of Justice doesn't want all the information out there in the court of public opinion. They want to try and punish Trump. They want to defeat him in the court of public opinion. They want to indict him in the court of public opinion. Okay? Meanwhile, the entire planet knows that if it was about the rule of law, Hillary Clinton would have already been indicted. Private servers siphoning classified data is infinitely worse than anything Trump has been accused of. Okay? There's 31 documents that he's been accused of possessing that he shouldn't. Over 30. Okay? He's a former president with the power to declassify. There's no acknowledgement or discussion on the part of the DOJ or the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the Washington Post as to whether or not they can prove that Trump didn't declassify those documents. It's not Trump that has to prove as a former president with the power to declassify that he declassified all 30-plus documents. Clinton did not have the power to declassify, and she had email chains with top secret and SAP intel, the highest level classified data on emails stored onto servers that were independent from the Pentagon, from the DOD, from the Department of Justice, from the entire United States government. So hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you hear about this case, pretty much the opposite is true. Trump is in the driver's seat. Not only, look, the Mueller probe, I said from the very beginning, was complete nonsense. And I was right about that. I'm more often right than I am wrong. Of course, I'm not perfect. But if you take my track record versus all of media or, all the pundits out there, or even like, million plus to 4 million sub YouTube channels, especially the wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats that run these channels, they're consistently wrong. I've been consistently right. I stated the Mueller probe would find nothing. It found absolutely nothing. Then you have all these wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats who love the intelligence services and law enforcement when it suits them, or law enforcement when it suits them. They love the intel agencies because these government departments are leveled against Trump. They love anyone against Trump because their entire lives, that's why they like shun and disown friends and family. Their entire lives are predicated upon getting Trump, okay? But he's like the orange roadrunner. You can't get him. Trump will never serve even a second in jail or prison, ever. Sorry to break the bad news to you, depending on where you are on the political spectrum. But he will not even for 1 second ever spend a second in a jail or prison cell. Ever. His direct political rivals, that's a different story. They actually did commit crimes. So the reality is, you might not like Trump, but he didn't commit a crime. He had the power to declassify. He was working with the Department of Justice. The tape recording of him, that document that's supposed to be the document that sends him to jail or prison, that doesn't exist. Almost certainly doesn't exist. They can't. The DOJ doesn't have it, and Trump doesn't have it. So they're using a document that nobody has to persecute or prosecute Trump, which is kind of hilarious because they have no evidence to show that he didn't declassify that document. Okay, the Commander-in-Chief, Navy versus Egan, the Supreme Court precedent says that a president can declassify documents, and there's a Politico article talking about even verbally, okay? So Trump's not going to have to prove anything. There's never been a precedent where a former president has had to prove that he didn't declassify. Similarly, you could have gone after President Obama for allowing Hillary Clinton's private servers. Clinton worked for President Obama. Everyone in that administration worked for President. Oh, he was the president, the executive branch. And so Clinton worked in the executive branch. He was the head of the executive. He knew very well that Clinton had private servers with classified data on them. Now, of course, President Obama lied. And what Democrats do oftentimes is they make the most absurd, outlandish statements that you'd have to be the most gullible imbecile to believe. And then you can't prove that he's lying. So that's their rebuttal. So President Obama stated, he didn't know that Clinton had private servers. He learned from CNN. Of course he knew. Whatever the arrangement was, it was not legal. You can't just allow the Secretary of State or just turn a blind eye to a Secretary of State owning classified data on servers. That's infinitely worse than anything Trump has even been accused of. Furthermore, in addition to the declassification issue and the fact that the audio tape of him allegedly acknowledging that he had a classified document, that document doesn't exist. In addition to all of this is the double standard. The precedent was set in stone when James Comey stated no reasonable prosecutor would indict Clinton because there was no intent. Then you have to show that Trump intentionally packed the boxes himself, ordered the boxes to be taken to Mar-a-Lago because he wanted to use the classified data for some nefarious purpose. Even William Barr, before he turned into a more negative tone against Trump, last year stated that's not that big of a deal at all. Okay? This is about government agencies going after the direct political rival. They don't like Trump. They despise Trump. It has nothing to do with the rule of law. If you think it's about the rule of law, then you've convinced yourself that going after Trump and allowing Democrats to get away with infinitely worse is just okay. That's just, totally fine. But that's not the way things operate in life. You can't set a precedent where one political party gets away with pretty much everything and just Trump gets indicted. At the end of the day, you've opened up a Pandora's box where then Hunter and Joe and Hillary and people who actually did commit crimes, where there's a money trail and there's bank accounts and there's millions upon millions of dollars and there's beneficial treatment and altering U.S. foreign policy and all these things that have taken place. Okay, with all the scandals and corruption on the Democratic Party side, most liberal Democrats don't know of this, nor do they care, because they're conditioned. It's like this Pavlovian response. When they hear the word Trump, it's like this, like salivating, or like, they get like red and angry and, hostile. They don't know why they don't like him, because he's mean, and we had record low poverty with Trump. We had record highs in household median income. He brought home Americans from never-ending military conflict. That was his doing, not Biden's. Biden reluctantly addressed the negotiated deal that Trump negotiated. Reluctantly. Okay, those 13 Americans and those over 100 Afghans should be alive today. Like everything Biden has done, it was a complete travesty. So you have to ask yourself, why are they going after Trump? Well, number one, they actually did commit crimes. Trump didn't. We know he didn't because it doesn't take 7 years to finally indict him. It doesn't even take 2 years. If they wanted to indict him for classified documents as a former president with the power to declassify the documents, according to Navy versus Egan, they could have done so immediately. They had to desperately find the audio. Maybe they were waiting for the audio tape. But see, again, President Obama's administration made a mockery of classified data. They didn't indict Clinton because it probably led to President Obama. There's no way that she could have had a private server were it not for the president's approval at that time. And I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I can't wait to see that. That'd be fantastic. Trump, Hillary again. Let's do this. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the exculpatory evidence that they're trying to prevent the public from seeing will be enough. There will be an acquittal. They don't have any evidence that he intentionally used servers, for example, like Clinton, who intentionally did. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right